What's up, everybody? This is Tyler from Tyler Has Words. You know, sometimes you gotta work for it. Man, that might be the theme of this book that we're talking about today. Yes, Jane Eyre. If you're thinking, what do I know about Jane Eyre? That's a perfectly good question. Maybe I can keep you around for a couple minutes. Thanks for all the new subscriptions and all that stuff. You guys have been awesome. I've gotten some good suggestions, which I desperately need. Anyway, we could talk about the movie Jane Eyre, or we could talk about the book, the new movie, directed by the dude that did all the great True Detective episodes. So it's an expertly directed movie, and I love that adaptation. Reading the classic Jane Eyre, okay, it's a 19th century novel about a young woman, and she's got trials aplenty, opportunities aplenty. She's a victim of circumstance, and at the same time, very much a character who forges her own path. She wants to make her own way in the world, and she's headstrong and all this stuff, and it's kind of awesome, but you're in there with her in her head. Like many, if not most, of the truly great novels, this is deeply psychological. Like, I would say Dostoevsky is incredibly psychological. Even, Don Quixote, really a lot of the classic stuff is you're, like, put inside that person. So the more I read and write to develop the craft, the more I come to believe that good stories are intertwined with the dustiest and sometimes least traveled to nooks and crannies of the human brain. Here we get a good gander at Jane's mind. Telescopic, microscopic, all the scopics. She ain't no pleasure cruise, nor is Rochester, the main man in the proceedings, nor is St. John, the other dude. St. John, the third wheel. He's an even bigger friggin' pain in the butt, but let's be real, almost everyone in this book is a pain in the butt, and that should be clear from the get-go. But it's more than just being a pain in the butt, it's about being complex. People are complex. Jane is very much so. Jane Eyre isn't escapist literature, even when you would take into account all the gothic and romantic themes, and there's some of that stuff, and a little bit of the numinous, mysterious that kind of gets intermingled into the narrative. This is the opposite of escapist, for me. I call it incarceration literature. Basically imprisoned with this main character. It's in first person. I mean, you're like in the friggin' Supermax with her in like a 3x2 cell. Good news, it's somehow worthwhile. And this is hard to explain, but art can be like that, but I'll give it a go. All the main characters have defensible positions in the story, okay? At the same time, they each get in their own way. Like people. One minute I'm thinking Jane is the bomb. Next, she's the worst. Make it easier on yourself, Jane. And the same goes with Rochester. Dude, little tip. The old crazy wife in the walls routine is never going to amount to points on the board. But then again, Rochester's sort of a baller. Homeboy's got a lot to deal with. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I mean, it's the 1800s. More than anything, Jane Eyre is a study in motivation and seeing both sides of an argument. A lesson in biting your lip, knowing that even if you can't agree with everyone, maybe it's best to at least try and understand. That's what I get out of it anyhow. 1 minute I'm on her side, 1 minute I'm on his side, 1 minute I think she's crazy, 1 minute I think she's got it all together, 1 minute she's just a bastion of awesomeness, she's a temple of respect. Next minute I'm like, dude, cut this guy some slack, and he's the man and he's got virtue, but he's kind of snarky too, and he's kind of a jerk. I don't know what to do. This is how you're going to go in this book. If you read it, it's going to bounce you up and down and side to side, and you're going to go crazy. Let's read a little bit of it. They were just about to get married. Jane, he's got a castle, he's got stuff. He's a dude. I mean, I think he's like a lord or something, whatever you call him. So this is her backing out. She's got her reasons, though, okay? It's first person, Jane's telling the story, but this is a back and forth between him and her. She's basically bailing. Why are you silent, Jane? I was experiencing an ordeal. A hand of fiery iron grasped my vitals. Terrible moment, full of struggle, blackness, burning. Not a human being that ever lived could wish to be loved better than I was loved. And him who thus loved me, I absolutely worshipped. And I must renounce love and idol. One drear word comprised my intolerable duty. Depart! This is Rochester again. Jane, you understand what I want of you? Just this promise. I will be yours, Mr. Rochester. Mr. Rochester, I will not be yours. Another long silence. Jane, recommenced he, with a gentleness that broke me down with grief and turned me stone cold with ominous terror. For this still voice was the pant of a lion rising. That's a great line. Jane, do you mean to go one way in the world and to let me go another? I do. Jane, bending towards and embracing me. Do you mean it now? I do. And now softly kissing my forehead and cheek. I do, extricating myself from restraint rapidly and completely. Oh, Jane, this is bitter. This is wicked. It would not be wicked to love me. It would to obey you. All right, she loves him. She knows that she's never going to get loved better than this dude. She's never going to even want to receive love better than this dude, but she's got to bail because of what he's done. And what he's done That's really complicated, and I'll let you read the book or watch the movie. They both depict it in beautiful ways. On one side of the story, I totally get what she's talking about. On the other side, I totally get what he's talking about, and I love the language. Come on, that writing, the pant of a lion rising, like he's got all this passion, but he's just trying to restrain himself because she's driving him crazy. Anyways, Jane Eyre, check out the movie, read the book, and I'll say one more thing. There's something singular about good fiction. Stories and characters done right allow us to break the chains of our own mindsets. I'm not saying anything new here, but it's worth reiterating. Also know that the more you invest yourself in a text, the farther you can travel with it. All right, this is Tyler Has Words. Like and subscribe. You guys are awesome. See you later. Cheers.